The lava fight scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin is the best fight. They all the stock, you know? Yeah, it was the best. Oh, I love that scene. I love that scene. So good.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me again today in another one of the recipe videos. I am going to do a bourbon cocktail today. This is quite an elaborate cocktail, requires quite a bit of preparation, but it's just oh so worth it. So you need a very strong bourbon. I discovered this one, which is called Booker's. And I am afraid to say, or I'm ashamed to say, or not ashamed, but whatever, you know what I mean. The reason I bought this bourbon was based purely, entirely on a whim. I just like the name because I'm into books. So I got it and I was so pleasantly surprised. This is made in very, very small batches every few years. It's very limited production, so you do need to search for it, and if you do get it, then I can recommend you just get your hands on it. It's not inexpensive, and each batch is called a certain name because the producer, which is made in Kentucky, I'm thinking, I want to say, bases the bourbons in the, you know, the history of his family, especially his grandpa. This one in particular is called bitten biscuits. Why? Because the grandpa used to make these biscuits that were pretty much flavorless, but he used to beat them a lot, the dough, before, you know, he would cook them in the oven. But they were the perfect accompaniment for his bourbon. So it's a family recipe. And yeah, you need a glass for the cocktail, which is about this size. This is about, what, 5 inches? And it will fill it up, okay? And you need to do 3 things in advance. So the very first one, and the easiest one, is honeyed water. Honeyed water is equal parts honey and water, and then you shake it. It's like a syrup, sort of. I suppose you could use agave, but this is more liquid. So honeyed water, you need that. You're gonna need to make some special ice cubes, and I have this, you know, kind of quirky tray. And you're gonna need to put some lemon rind and some mint in the ice cubes. So before you actually cut the lemon, with an instrument like this, some kind of rimmer, you know, you press down on it and it'll come out in curls. And you put some of the curls in here with some chopped mint, fill it up with water, and end up with these quirky ice cubes, which I will show you here how they come up. All right, and they're very flavorful. I put 3 per glass. They're very flavorful. I would recommend you actually let the drink sink in so the ice cubes melt, because then all those flavors are going to come on. So that in the glass. You also need to make blackberry syrup. This is a bourbon blackberry cocktail. It looks like this. The way you do it is you do simple syrup. Simple syrup, you heat up equal parts of water and sugar. Once the sugar melts, you know, dissolves in the water, just to the point of boiling. Do not boil it too much because then you get caramel. You don't want that. You just want the syrup. Once it's like that, all close to boiling point, all sugar dissolved, you pour it into a pint of berries. And just to cover the berries, and you let it sit for about half an hour. And then you end up with something like this, okay? So that's all the preparation you need to do in order first to do this cocktail. For the cocktail in itself, we're gonna need a cocktail shaker with some ice on it, and we're gonna need juice of, I suppose, about half a lemon. This is a rimmer, so let's see if I can do it in a more visual way. Here we go. It's about half a lemon, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I put a strainer because I don't want to get any seeds or, skin of the lemon in there, or flesh. So now for the bourbon, and you're going to use 2 ounces of the bourbon. This is a jigger. This bourbon is very, very caramelly. It's quite strong, but for this sort of cocktail, and I have tried it with other bourbons, it doesn't work. You really need something that is quite strong. So 2 ounces of that. We're going to do 1/4 cup of the blueberry syrup. All right. It helps to have it in a measuring cup already. And 1 tablespoon of the honeyed water. I like to measure quite exactly my ingredients because then you do end up with a very nice cocktail. And now we shake. Okay, once the shaker is sweaty, it's done, and we're gonna pour it into the glass. Takes about 3/4 of the glass, which is fine because, as it happens, that is not the end of the cocktail. You're gonna need now some club soda, and you're gonna top it off. And as it happens, it is not yet quite the end either. You're going to use 2 or 3 blackberries. I like to use 3 as my garnish. And put a little mixer there. Here's your cocktail. I'm gonna let it sit so that, like I said, all the ice cubes melt in there. I really, really urge you to try it. I know it's quite extensive in preparation, but it's just so, so lovely. And try Bouquet's Bourbon. This is not a sponsor post or a sponsor video, should I say. It's one of the loveliest bourbons. Get into the history, and I shall link the recipe, not link the recipe, but list the recipe below. This, should I say, is a recipe that is based on one that Tiffany Thiessen did for a cooking show that she used to have. And this was the very first episode, and it was called Blackberry Cocktail. But the secret is in the bourbon you use. So I strongly urge you to use this particular one. I hope you like it and enjoy it. Let me know how you fared. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.